The financial institutions are also expected to obtain the following information from the customer at the minimum and upload same on the CBN portal created for the purpose. That's valid means of identification of the payee. That's a national ID, international passport or driver's license. As a bank verification number of the payee, tax ID number of both the payee and the payer, approval in writing by the MD CEO of the financial institution authorizing the withdrawal. The CBN order deposit money banks not to pay customers making over-the-counter withdrawals of new Naira notes again. So let's talk about this now. Once again, it takes effect today. I'm asking you, what is the effect of the CBN cash withdrawal limit on you? Well, I know it just started today, but is it having any effect or impact already? Do you envisage it might have some impact in the short term, in the short run, or in the long run as well? Let's get your take on that. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria InfoPH, live on Twitter as well at Nigeria InfoPH. And at the appropriate time, number to call 0700 93 093. But joining me right now for this conversation via phone from Lagos is Michael Ogbaa. He's my guest, Michael Ogbaa, is CEO, Sitiamo Technologies Limited, and besides that, also he is a banker, economist, former head agency banking with Access Bank Group, with over 22 years of banking experience. Michael, good evening to you, and welcome to Hard Facts.
Thank you, Dayo. Good evening to all your listeners.
Michael, we've been taking a look at this matter for some weeks right now, right from when the policy was announced by CBN and some of the changes that it's undergone, the reviewing of the withdrawal limits from 100,000 Naira weekly to 500,000 weekly for individuals, and from 500,000 to 5 million for organizations. And the much anticipated, if you will, date is finally here. It's upon us now, January 9. That's gone into effect. The other policy, we're still waiting for that to kick in, and that should be by the end of this month. And that's when the current notes will become invalid, and the new notes will be the only authorized to identify legal tenders in the country. But let's talk about this current development. It's finally here. The CBN's new cash withdrawal limit is in effect. So I'll ask you this. What are the immediate and long-term impacts of this on individuals, small businesses, and even bigger organizations as well?
Okay, thank you, Dayo. I've taken time to reach out to know what the effects have been across all channels and across all demographics. These are my findings. I placed a call to 4 of my bankers, that is the bankers to the company I run. I wanted to be sure. I called my account officer. Can we withdraw more than 5 million since we are talking about corporate institutions? They said, no, sir, you cannot. So, in effect, it has started. I run a business that ordinarily, once we do transfer, our agent field officers are able to collect 5 million, 6 million, some 2, some 4. But today, it is all back to that process. So right now, our business is affected. Like I told you the last time you and I had this call, we've changed our business model just because we have to comply with this rule by CBN, this policy. So today, all our agent field officers can get money, we will withdraw and go and give to the marketing for our practice there. So today, they will send us the list of all the people they want to give the funds to, and we will directly credit them. So those are the kind of effects we will start seeing from today. I also had the opportunity of reaching out to the leadership of the Association of Non-Bank, Association of Bank and Mobile Bank Operators in Nigeria. I wanted to know, because they monitor from Lagos all their members across the country. They have 1.4 million members that are agents. All those POS available here, you see all over the place. I asked the very senior person in that band, what is the effect? What are your members saying? He was laughing. He told me that a couple of their members who have their account in their individual name, They went, withdrew 500,000, went back to the bank to withdraw again. Bank says, no, sir, no, ma, you cannot withdraw again. Rather, if you did, no problem, we'll go ahead and give you the money, but you are paying 3% flat. I asked him, are you for real? He said, yes. This is what has started happening. I then asked him a leading question. Don't you think that your agents will pass this cost on to the customers? He said they've already started doing so. So, Dayo, what do you see? There is inflation. If we are going to measure inflation on that minute level alone, what CBN is fighting, which we all know, is to reduce inflation in one hand. But here we are. Inflation is because, again, how do you pass on that 3%? Will it be equitably done? No. You will now start adding, assuming somebody that withdraws 10,000, for instance, pays 200 naira. You will now say, oh, they charge me at the bank, so you are going to pay 250 naira. That 50 naira is the commensurate with the 3% rate you paid at the bank. So those are the realities you begin to see, Dayo.
Let's start with I want to ask some questions based on your observations regarding the impact. Let's start with your clients, your customers, the market women. I believe at Sitsamo Technologies Limited, you offer loans to market women.
Yes.
So now your agent access to your clients, market women themselves, who before now must have been used to getting cash from you or from your agents. But now that's not the case. How is it affecting them? And are there any challenges with this new business model you're adopting?
Yes, that's a very big impact. Where we used to do 100%, we are doing only 5% now because some markets outrightly say, no, we are used to people giving us cash. If you are not giving us cash, bye-bye. We are going to use the next person that can give us cash. So am I bothered? Not really. We are starting afresh because we are going to create new behavior as it were. So yes, the answer is it has affected us. Now, the second leg of it is reconciliation problem. Don't forget that when we credit these customers, out of 100, 2 or 3 might come and say to you, I didn't receive the money. So you now go and say, okay, print your account number, print your account statement and bring to me. We are sure we credited you. This is the evidence. So those reconciliation challenges are going to happen, whether we like it or not. Don't forget that this is the first time we are applying this. So the repayment is another story altogether. Until repayment happens 1 week or 2 after, I will still talk to you by then the impact of the repayment on this new process that we are putting in place. But the short answer to your question is yes, it has had impact on our business, and not everybody likes the fact that we are changing from giving them cash to crediting their account. But it's something we have decided to do once and for all and get it right. It is a surgery. It's like surgery. You either remove whatever benignant illness you want to remove. You have to do that surgical operation now. Otherwise, you keep having the problem. So it's a policy we as Sitsamo Technology Limited has decided to take at this point in time.
Yeah, but do they understand why you're employing this new business model? Do they understand what's going on, the CBN policy and all of that?
Yes. So our agent field officers were told last week, in fact 2 weeks ago, as well as last week, to let them know. In fact, don't forget that we don't interact with these people directly. So it's the agent field officer that go to them, have them agree to the terms and conditions of this loan before passing the information to us. Then we credit, then they get their money. So we've used the same channel to say, go talk to them. And the feedback we've been having, I'll give you 2 examples. There is a lady, her name is Esther. She's there in Port Harcourt, where you are, Dayo. She kept back to me last week and said, one of the markets says, bye-bye to Sitsamo. We are not interested. Another one came back and said that they want to try it and see the impact. So we are getting feedback. We are getting feedback, yeah.
Mm. Now, the other part of what you mentioned is you talk about the POS operators, and that's a challenge for them. Now, note that they have rendered valuable service to Nigerians over the years, since they started creeping up at every street junction, but the whole one of the major reasons for this policy of the CBN is to entrench the cashless policy, as it were. In other words, Nigerians pay with your ATM cards, credit or debit cards, do transfers. If you swipe your card, whatever it is. So, isn't that said? Isn't that if the POS operators are still very much in business? I understand that this might put them out of business, but if they are still very much in business, doesn't that defeat the essence or the purpose or a major reason for this policy of the CBN to drive Nigerians towards a cashless policy so that they handle as little cash as possible or even no cash at all?
Okay, so Daniel, the first question to ask is, what is the literacy rate in Nigeria? Before you can, I will take it for granted because you can do that with our phone. But that's on it people to say, help me make transfers, help me do this, help me do that. So it's not only cash. So I said that to say this. The POS people are providing services beyond cash alone. So they will still be there. But have we sat down as a country, as a people, to ask ourselves, why are people so hung on to cash? What is it about cash and Nigeria that is defying every other logic? CBN governor admitted that they have tried this more than 12 times to make this day come, but it's been resisted. There is a reason why people resist these things. I'll give you the final example. Even with the cash, I know we are concentrating on this cash withdrawal policy for today. Even the new currency that's been whether redesigned or remodeled or whatever we might choose to call it, people have refused to. A very educated person, a friend, told me that he used Ogbaa. When the service was ended, he wanted to pay the Ogbaa guy with the new currency, and he said, "No, sir. Pay me with the old currency or make a transfer. I'm not comfortable with this new Naira note." Can you imagine somebody that is riding Ogbaa, is educated, using technology to do a whole lot, but the confidence is not there? Is it for the new currency? So now think about rural areas, far-fled places. You now begin to see the challenge CBN has. It's not my challenge.
It is incredible indeed. Now, the next question I'm going to ask you, and I'm not sure that I have time for you to respond to that right now. I have a commercial break coming up shortly. So you will respond to that question when we return from the break. But I ask the question nonetheless now. So how is all of this going to impact the economy? What it effectively have on the economy in the short run and in the long run, of course? But you'll give a response to that when we return. By the way, we're live on facebook.com/NigerianInfoPage. Drop a comment or question there. Also via Twitter at NigeriaInfoPage as well. A quick commercial break. When we return, conversation will continue. My guest, Michael Ogbaa, will still be with me. Stay tuned. Hard Facts returns shortly.
know how ingenious Nigerians can be. I'm not putting ideas in their head, but I know what Nigerians can do. They will open multiple accounts in multiple banks. They will use their children's accounts. They will do all manner of things. They will go and collaborate with filling stations, fuel stations. Instead of taking your money, fuel station to a bank, why don't you collect the credit? You confirm your money. Everybody is happy. So there are so many innovative things that will happen in both the short and long-term basis. So in the long time, it's a good thing for Nigeria generally. The less cash we spend, the more money we save as a country. The printing money and all this and all that, ultimately, it's the taxpayers' money that will be used to do all that. It will also help us to, in the long run, to reduce cash and increase technology way of doing transactions. That way, if anybody is looking for tracing who did what, you'll be able to find out, oh, they say there is kidnapping, you must transfer. That way you know who you are transferring to. But if it is cash you are going to use as ransom, it becomes a bit of a challenge. So there are so many, all those examples CBN gave, I think they will work out in the long run. But in the short run, the impact might not be as earth-shaking as a lot of people might think.
Now, one of the major reasons, I believe it's a major reason adduced or given for this policy as well, is to stem, if not entirely end, the incidents or cases of vote buying, especially as we have the general elections just weeks away. Now, my question is, will this policy coming into effect right now greatly affect or even limit, if not entirely eliminate, the incidence of vote buying? And I'm asking that especially because even though these withdrawal limits have been set, as you also had rightly identified a while ago, there is still some leeway. If as an individual you want to withdraw above 500,000 naira, just pay a processing fee of 3%. If as an organization you want to withdraw above 5 million in a week, well, that's fine. Give us a valid reason. It's for legitimate business, and then as long as you can pay the 5% processing fee on that. So, I mean, anybody who wants to carry out some nefarious activity, such as vote buying, of course, anybody who is going to go into vote buying very likely is going to be spending money that they may have stolen from the public treasury anyway. So what's an extra 5% to pay if you are intent on buying votes? So will it really have the impact that that the CBN has been touting as regards how it might impact the elections and vote buying?
Yes, Dayo, it will have very little effect. You have explained the reasons why you think so, and I agree with you. The politicians that can be able to influence vote buying can influence banks. They are the ones that have the bank MDs as their friends. They are the ones that the bullion van can take money to meet them wherever he wants the bullion van to come. Don't forget that when the bullion van is going, we don't stop the bullion van to ask the bullion van, are you taking this money to a bank? Are you going to cash out to ATM? And where exactly are you going with this money in the bullion van? We don't ask those questions. So, and these politicians, they are well connected. Some of them have fuel stations. Chains of them, they can manipulate it if they are so bent on vote buying. But the truth is this: if Nigerians wake up and collectively say no to vote buying, it will come to its end. I don't have a problem you collecting money from somebody, but I have a problem you allowing the small money you are collecting to influence your decision. 2,000 in 4 years, that's an insult. I might say so because I'm privileged. 2,000 might not mean a lot to me, but I know Iyasikira and Papa Boboy that it might mean a lot to them. They might not have another means of getting free money in the next 4 years, but that is not what they should mortgage the future of themselves and their children. So my appeal is that if they come to you to induce you with cash, collect. Nobody is going to allow you to take pictures at the polling unit or the polling place. You are supposed to vote all by yourself. If they say you have taken juju to swear, it doesn't work. Juju will not kill you. Collect their money, vote your conscience. That would be my answer to you, Dayo.
Any thoughts, comments, contributions on the ongoing conversation? You're welcome to share those right now. Lines open, call 0700 93 093. That's 0700 93 093. Also join in via facebook.com/Nigeria info page. That's facebook.com/Nigeria info page. Also, we're live on Twitter at Nigeria info page. That's at Nigeria info page via Twitter. Number to call once again, 0700 93 093. Via Twitter at dat_Isoko_guide tweet. It's annoying. Right now, all USD payments from Naira cards have been halted. You're expected to get a dollar account, of which you still have to source for USD at ridiculous rates before you can use it. Now, Michael, I know that this is a somewhat a digression of sorts from the conversation we're having, but can you confirm what this person is saying right now, that USD payments from Naira cards have been halted and everyone who wants to make payments in USD is expected to get a dollar account? Is that correct?
That's correct. The banks have been sending out information saying that they are sorry, you cannot use your card account for foreign transactions and all that. I know I've received it from at least two of the banks I use. So yeah, the person that wrote that is another. It's something that the banks are doing. I think it has to do, CBN is struggling to meet up with the demand, the FX demand. If you notice of late, the external reserve has been depleted seriously in defending the Naira as it were. But those are small steps. For you to defend the Naira in a sustainable means, we know what you need to do. You need to become a production-based economy, not a consumption-based economy. That's the only way. If Dangote refinery starts working today and the money we use for importation and even the one we use for subsidy is returned back to the economy, half of all the problems we are talking about defending the Naira will be a thing of the past. Remember also that Nigerians go all out to look for money wherever they can get it to pay for their students and their children's school fees abroad. Those are the things that are putting pressure on the not small spenders that take their card abroad. So the short answer to your question, Dayo, is that yes, the person said the truth.
All right. Once again, 0700 93 093 number to call. I've got a few comments here, by the way. CBN on this, the policy, I'm still looking for the narrow notes. The policy will actually affect people with money, not me. I mean those with millions. Okay. Apart from possible financial security and the enhancement of ease of doing business, how does the cashless economy specifically put food on the table of an average poor man, or at least reduce poverty in the land, bearing in mind that right now Nigeria is the poverty capital of the earth? Otherwise, what is the nexus between cashless policy and poverty reduction? That's from Ben. Well, Ben, I don't think the idea is to... Not every policy of government is geared towards enriching Nigerians. Well, maybe if you look at the multiplier effect, maybe in the long run, because the country will save some money, and then when the country saves money from printing narrow notes and all of that, then the government may have more money to carry out social investments, human capital development. So maybe, well, if you take a very long critical look at it, there might be some impact or effect in the long run. But I don't think that this is primarily designed to put food on the table of Nigerians. Is my assessment correct, Michael?
Your assessment is correct, but Dario, don't forget one thing. When Nigerians respond, they respond from the point of pain. What is paining them the most? So those are the comments you'll be receiving. I'll be surprised when people don't call in and unburden their frustration, and they have every right to do so. So yes, you are right. But again, I understand the comment. People are talking from a point of frustration, their pain, and their disenchantment with the government and what the government policies. No matter how beautiful the government policy may be, the fact that there is a disconnect between the led and the populace, those are the comments you will find.
Once again, lines open 0700 93 093. I am taking calls right now. Also via Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. Send your contributions as well. Also, the earlier message I read out, someone was talking about looking for the new Naira notes. Now, the new Naira notes are not in wide circulation at the moment, even though reportedly the CBN has ordered banks to load their ATMs in a bid to improve circulation. I don't know if that's been affected. As I speak to you, Michael, I haven't handled or laid my eyes on the new Naira note. I've never seen one except on TV or on the internet. So, well, it's safe to say that they're not widely circulated yet. So, will that in any way have any effect on this new policy?
Yes, Dayo, there is a funny thing that happened. I think it was last week. CBN came up with a policy that says banks, on no condition should you give people the new Naira notes across the counter. I was shocked. It goes back to the last discussion you and I had on this, the fact that the new currency is very scarce and you hardly can find it. Just like you have never touched the new currency. I've actually been going to the bank for the past 10 days to see if I could get it, and I have not been able to. So, yes, the challenge is there. And, Dayo, the last time you and I spoke, I was betting that this 31st of January deadline might be a reality, but everything in me tells me that it will be a disaster if CBN should go ahead and make the old Naira notes invalid after January 31st. It will be a disaster. The reason is very simple. Here we are, 3 weeks to the time. There is not enough new currency to take effect except maybe a week or two to the end or to the deadline. They will now start pumping it out there. So, and the anarchy it will cause is better imagined than experienced. People will start having alternative currency in one country, because if people don't have access to the new one and you say the old one is invalidated, they will call your bluff. They will still continue to use the old currency. Give your word. And that is Nigerians for you. So I don't want to preempt CBN, but I pray they get it right.
Once again, 0700 93 093, live on Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. If you have any difficulty reaching us, apologies for that. To keep trying, I'm sure you get through eventually. All right, let's take a few more comments now. All right, let's take a call. Okay, I'll come back to the call later. Good evening, Dad. Before a customer will be paid excess of 5 million for corporate accounts weekly, the bank will pro customer did right. That's Chine from Rupoku. All right, Chine, yeah, of course, but like Michael mentioned a while ago as well, those individuals who might need to collect more than 500,000 naira, or organizations that might need more. I mean, there are people, especially politicians, there are people who have the MD's number on speed dial. And this information you ask, saying the TIN, valid ID, utility bill, those will not be difficult to provide at all, I suppose. Stephen is on the line from EOFS. Stephen, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dayo. Good evening.
All right, go on.
Yeah, I've been listening to your program this evening, and I believe that so the network itself is a problem on its own, because most of the times you try to do transfer and the network is a disaster. So I think the policy, to me, is not going to really work very well.
Yeah, but Stephen, nobody is saying you shouldn't have cash at all. But let me ask you this, Stephen. For example, you as an individual, you can still access 500,000 naira every week if you must have cash on you at all. What do you spend money on? I don't know. I mean, what could you even if you, Stephen, spend more than 500,000 naira every week, what would you need to spend 500,000 naira cash on? Cash, not transfers, not card payments. What would you need to spend 500,000 naira cash on every week?
Actually, for me, I don't think I can be able to spend that kind of money in a week. But there are those who are so much money.
Now, even for those persons who may spend 500,000 naira or more every week, why would they need cash for it? That's my point here. When you can pay with your card or you can pay via transfer, why would they need 500,000 naira cash or more?
But you didn't want to do transfer. The network itself is a problem. That's what I'm trying to say. The network itself is a problem. The network is a problem. That's my point.
Okay. All right, Stephen. Good to hear from you. Michael, do you envisage that might be a challenge as well? The equipment, connectivity, network, and all of that. Sometimes you might even go to a place that has a POS machine. They tell you, oh, this one is not working. Let's get another one. This one doesn't have network. Let's try another one. So do you think that connectivity and all of that might pose a challenge to the effective running of this cashless policy?
Yes, it can, but it will not be major. It will have limited impact. The reason is simple. In a situation where your network is giving you issues, you use USSD. USSD does not use network. USSD, even without network, works. So the idea is, how can I use that? We can always have another session when we can go through that whole process. But there are always means to do what you need to do without necessarily going through the network. Secondly, Dario, you asked our friend that called a very important question. Apart from people not able to withdraw 500,000 in a week, how many people receive 2 million naira in a month in their account? That is the question. What are you doing with 2 million? How many people earn 2 million every month? That is the simple thing CBN is saying. How many people can afford to have 2 million in their account? Because for you to withdraw 2,500,000 every week, you need 2 million in your account. It's ridiculous to think that this CBN policy is going to affect so many Nigerians. No, sir. No, man. It's not going to affect so many Nigerians.
All right, back to the phone lines. We'll get back to that in a moment. Once again, 0700 93 093 is the number to call. 0700 93 093. Live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Live on Twitter as well, at Nigeria Info PH. It seems that this cashless policy may lead to layoff of some employees in the banking sector. That's from Mayor. Michael, is there a possibility of that, of layoffs because of this new withdrawal limit?
Yes, the POS people, like I said, they claim that they have 1.4 million of them across the country. At the time, CBN said only 20,000 per week, and I can't remember the one for corporate. Yes, it was going to affect them. Seriously, there could have been loss of so many jobs. But with this 500,000, yes, there might be small impact on businesses, but it's not going to be very, very fundamental as that.
How about in the banking sector or the financial industry? Is there any danger of layoffs? I mean, actual direct staff of banks now.
If the ATM machines didn't take the jobs of tellers, I don't see why this one will take their jobs.
All right. We got Achibong from PH Town. Hello, go ahead.
Yes, Dayo, good evening, Dayo.
You're welcome.
Honestly, I'm not happy with this country. The country currently is suffering from malaria, and instead of them, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Instead of them treating malaria, they are focusing on the symptoms. They are buying Cofex for cough. They are buying Procol for cold. When you treat malaria, you treat the symptoms. The government, the current government, and its policymakers, they are without direction. They are like loose cannons. a bunch of
Achibong, what is your concern with the policy?
That won't benefit.
Achibong, what is your concern with the policy?
How would these policies that they are making?
Achibong, can you explain? Can you identify what your challenge is with the policy? Well, I guess he couldn't. But Michael, like you said a while ago, you were expecting Nigerians to call in and express frustrations. Well, he did that. But the remarkable thing for me is, even though he was expressing his frustrations, he couldn't explain what exactly his grouse is with the policy.
Correct. The question you could have asked him is this. Does this, because he was talking about Nigeria treating malaria and leaving the other things, this policy on a standalone does not stop a serious government from carrying out all those other things he thinks are lofty and should be done. This one does not stop them. They did not stop every other thing just to concentrate on that, on this. Assuming it's a useless policy that will cause a lot of problems, we can address that. But I don't think it would be fair to say that they stopped every other thing just for this. No, you can still do a whole lot together. It's not. It's only CBN that is involved in this anyway.
All right. What about some companies that pay their workers by hand? What about the network issues in the country? The CBN policy doesn't have a human face. That's from Ezekiel Isaiah. Well,
those people should wake up to the reality. It isn't dangerous to do that because the cars can be waylaid on the way, armed robbery, this and that. I think we should move towards giving people money in their account and leaving them the choice of deciding how to spend their money. With this policy, it's only going to make it faster to go electronic way rather than paying people. I think it's even dehumanizing to be paying people cash in this age and time.
Well, that's where we have to wrap up the conversation. Many thanks for joining in. Thanks to my guest, Michael Ogbaa has joined Ivafun from Lagos. He's CEO, Sitiamo Technology Limited. Michael, many thanks for your time.
Thank you, and have a nice day, sir. Bye.
All right, got a commercial break coming up shortly. Top of the hour at 5 is the news update. After that, discussions continue, and we're going to this. The more you pay, it appears the less you see. Serap urges Buhari to reverse alleged electricity tariff hike. My guest, Kola Oluluwa, Deputy Director with Serap, joins me for that conversation. Do stay tuned. Hard Facts returns in a bit.